Welcome to Love Lately, the podcast where we dive into the real conversations about love, relationship, and all the joys and challenges that come along with finding love and keeping it after 50.
Okay, so look, whether you're looking for love, starting over, or navigating the ins and outs of long-term commitment, we're just here to share our journey and the insights we've discovered with you.
I'm Lee, and this is my husband, Ron, and we definitely don't have all the answers. Like, trust me, we do not have all the answers. But we have many questions, and we want to unpack them with you. We will talk about what love looks like in this stage of life and how we can make it work.
So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and join us for honest, heartfelt, faith-filled conversations that remind us all it is never too late for love.
Welcome to Love Lately. Welcome back to Love Lately. I'm Lee.
Hi, I'm Ron.
And today we have a fascinating topic.
Yes.
Fascinating because it circles around the whole premise of our podcast.
Yes.
And that is love.
Love lately. And so we decided to kind of focus this podcast on the concept of love. It's like that elusive thing that we seem to all be desiring, searching for, craving. It's love.
Right.
And so we decided to kind of delve into love a little bit, to talk about what it looked like for us, you know, sort of like our definition of love, and how it and our love kind of resonated with each other, and how we found ways to continue to nurture and develop the love that we have for each other.
Right. And hopefully give you all something to walk away with and really think about some action items, and really, again, think about, what is love? Am I looking for love? Am I positioned for love? Am I open to love? What actually is love?
Yeah. And a lot of times I think that our definition or our look at love is usually always shaped by our past experiences.
Yes. Yeah.
By our past experiences. And sometimes, you know, we find people that are turned off by love because of things that they've gone through, dealt with. It was called love, but it turned out to be something that was not even close to love. So we wanted to kind of touch on that. And I think I mentioned in our previous podcast about marriage. We talked about marriage and how I believe that marriage is not a concept of man.
Yes.
Marriage is a concept of God. And I feel the same way about love. Love is a concept of God.
Right.
It's nothing that men came up with. And so I know,
to really truly love, really love, like when we think about the biblical definition of love, it's pretty much impossible to do on your own.
Absolutely. It's an indescribable love that no matter what my experiences have been, I still can't wrap my head around that whole true concept of love. And it takes for me to kind of get out of myself and to delve into something a little bigger than myself, to realize and understand what that concept is.
So I'm going to ask you a few questions. I'm going to I know, because when we're coming up with our kind of editorial calendar, we have certain topics that either we're both pretty passionate about, or one of us is more passionate than the other. So this was something he's been wanting to do, this topic. Since the beginning, which makes sense because it's love lately. So I'm going to ask him a few questions, and then I'm going to kind of flow with him. So this is all unscripted.
Okay.
All right. So sometimes I lure my husband into some of the reality shows that I sometimes watch. And a couple of them focus on choosing love, not knowing a lot of the circumstances. So do you think love can be a choice?
Yeah, love is a choice.
Okay.
Love is a choice. Okay, my definition of love.
Yes.
Okay, years ago, probably 20 years ago, I heard a man that back home that I really respected, and his definition of love was an infinite delight in the well-being of another.
Oh.
An infinite delight.
I love that.
Yes, it means I take great pleasure.
Yes.
I take great pleasure in loving you. I take great pleasure in expressing that love and care and concern for you. So it's an infinite delight. I mean, it doesn't stop.
Right.
It doesn't change. There's nothing that you can do.
And it's like effortless.
It's nothing that you can do.
Love.
It's nothing that you can do to deviate me from that. Does it get hard sometimes? But if I love you, then my desire, my infinite delight is in your well-being, your spiritual well-being, your mental well-being, your emotional well-being, your physical well-being.
Yes.
And so sometimes I have to focus on all those things because it's all part of you. And that's my expression of love for you. And so it is a choice. It's an infinite delight in the well-being of another. So I choose that. I choose you. I choose to love you. I choose to delight and take great pleasure in your well-being. And that's sometimes if I'm a little, bothered, if we're a little bothered, or if things aren't going the way that, we desire them to go.
Right.
That's just life. But life shouldn't interrupt love. And so you want to find someone who wants to delight in you.
Yes.
Who cares about not just the fluff and the rainbows and the unicorns.
Yeah.
Because I think all that kind of fades over time.
Right.
But then you want to find someone who delights in your well-being, who sits down and pays attention, knows those things that reality shows, those things that you like, and just delight in making sure that you're okay. And has nothing to do with things and stuff.
Right.
It's just that person that I'm taking this time to know this person, to kind of study this person and understand when that person needs something.
Right.
And so I'm kind of connected.
So it's like you've decided the choice.
Yes.
To study someone.
Yes.
So much.
Yes.
That, what do they say, when you do a job that you love, you never work another day in your life?
Yes.
So it's like that.
Yes.
I enjoy it so much. It's not hard.
Yes. And I hope you know this, that I love loving you.
Yes.
I love loving you. I do take great pleasure and infinite delight in your well-being. And a lot of times, there's love in the no. When I say no, you know what I mean?
What?
Love doesn't always have to be yes, 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 and I'm catering to you. Yes. Sometimes your well-being means, babe, no.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
No, that's too much for you. Or that's not good for you. Or you need to step away from that. Or step away from those people, step away from those things. Right. It's just that my concern is for your well-being. That's all parts of you. That's mentally, emotional. When see things are too heavy for you, I can step in and say, listen.
This is an amazing insight on love and how you have described it and rise to the occasion of it. But some people may not have had that experience.
Absolutely.
So they don't know how to love like that.
Absolutely.
So what happens when maybe there is a relationship and maybe one or the other or both don't really know how to love like you just described? Can it be taught? Can it still work? Like, how does that happen?
I think it takes time, and we talked about in our earlier podcast about baggage, emotional baggage, residue.
Look at the episode.
Residue. The stuff that's left over from those past experiences, and those past experiences, I think, sometimes shape your outlook on life, relationships, love, and all those things. But I think sometimes for me, when we got together, I had a period of time where it was just me and just me. And it was a moment of self-reflection. It was a moment of reflecting on all the past experiences, knowing that I was the common denominator in all those things, all those failed relationships, all those failed circumstances. I was a common denominator. So it took a moment of me to self-reflect and think about the things that I needed to do differently or change. And it was a spiritual journey.
Yes.
It was a spiritual journey, and it was a spiritual enlightenment. And that helped me and it prepared me for you. It prepared me for you. And it's still a journey. It's still a process, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it's never going to be perfected, but it's always progress. And so sometimes we have to take a serious and honest look at those things that we've experienced in the past, and how they have shaped us, some positively,
Yeah.
some negatively.
Right.
And so look at the residue, look at the baggage, look at those emotional scars, and do some self-reflecting and understand what it is truly at the core of my being. What is it that I desire? And if it's love, then it should be something that's going to be catered to my well-being, not the stuff I need.
Right.
Because a lot of us at this point in our lives, we have stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But is it catered to my well-being? Is it easy?
Right.
Does it?
So should love be easy? What do you think?
It can be easy. It can be easy, and even the bumps can be easy, because sometimes those bumps and hurdles that we encounter in the relationship, we get over those things a lot faster than we used to in the past.
Right.
You know what I mean? Life happens.
Yes.
We have these bumps and hurdles and things that, where we bump heads, but we seem to be able to get over those things a little faster. It's easier to, after the self-reflection, to take some accountability when it's my side of the street that needs to be cleaned up.
Yeah. Okay. So that's a good point. Going back to the question that I asked about, can it be taught if you haven't grown up with and been, taught about this kind of love and loving like this? Mm-hmm. Can you later in life correct it or be with someone who may not understand how to love? And it sounds like you were saying a lot of self-reflection, a lot of internal work. Mm-hmm. So I think part of that is, even with a lesson in that, is when you decide to love, when you're ready to love and be open to love, there has to be some type of internal work.
Absolutely.
Part of that. You
Absolutely.
Can't just jump in and not think there's anything that you have to clean up.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're looking for love lately, at this point in stage in our lives, then we have to look back on those experiences that has gotten us to this point.
Yes.
This point where we're still searching.
Right.
Where we're still searching. And there has to be something that we have to look back on and do an honest, we talked about doing an inventory.
Yes.
Of ourselves in our
self-assessment, self-awareness. Yes.
So there has to be some things that I need to take off the shelf. Some of those things can be a distraction.
Yes.
A distraction to me finding love, or finding that person who shows that infinite delight in my well-being. Mm-hmm. Someone who I can express an infinite delight in their well-being, and where we come together and we start to develop something that's nurturing and something that's positive and something that's good. And it can be easy. Even the hurdles and the bumps can be easy, because we've done this stuff. We can look honestly at ourselves and realize where I've been. Maybe I'm the issue right here at this point.
Right.
So I can step back and say, let me clean this up. Let me clean up my side of the street.
So, good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Very good stuff. What about feelings? Because we've talked about love should be a choice. We've talked about self-reflection and the work needed to get to a point mm-hmm. to love. Mm-hmm. But is it okay to have, to look, to want, to desire the chemistry stuff?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think part of that is the chemistry. Mm-hmm. When you find someone, when you look for someone mm-hmm. who knows when there's something going on, who studies you, who wants to know you, who wants to know everything about you, who has that infinite delight in your well-being, that's the chemistry. That's the part where where something is going on, where I know I need to address this, where I need to know if there's something going on in their thinking, in their spirit, in their well-being, something physical.
But I mean, to get to that point, I have friends, and we've seen it, mm-hmm. where some people are shut down because the person doesn't dress the way they want, or hair too short, hair too long, just all kinds of things. Yeah. And that may prevent them from even getting to that place of studying you and knowing you and all those things. Like, how much should we put to the side, in your opinion, and wait for chemistry, or is chemistry out the window, or where does that line up when we think about love?
Well, chemistry is definitely not out the window.
Okay.
There should be some chemistry, because You want to be in the room where there's silence and there's nothing going on, and you still enjoy being in the room with this person.
Yeah, that's important.
I mean? There could be nothing going on, nothing
Yes.
being said, and you still enjoy being in the room with this person. It's something about this person that resonates deep inside of you that you just enjoy being with this person. So chemistry is important. I also think that we need to kind of just define what it is that we truly want. What is it that we truly want? None of us are perfect.
Right.
None of us are going to be, everything
Yes.
that someone wants, but that's the choice that I make. I make that choice to love this person. And a lot of times you can express to me about some things that you're not pleased with or that you want changed because I love you.
Right.
We talked about being open-minded to some things that I've never done.
Yes.
Some things that I've never had, some things that I've, completely inexperienced with. And so it's about having that open mind and being able to receive and accept those things and then make some changes if there needs to be some changes made. We don't look for all that, superficial stuff, that really doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Right.
The substantive stuff.
Yes, you got it.
Yes. So, it's a process.
Yeah.
It's a process and it doesn't happen overnight. It's something that has to be nurtured and developed, and it's something that you choose to invest the time and the energy in. And it should be something that's beneficial to you. Like when we met, our languages and our ways of expressing love were completely different.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Love languages are important.
Absolutely, it's important.
And for those of you who've not read the book or taken the online quiz, know what your love language is. But in the same way, just because it's my love language and I know how I receive love, I can't assume that that's how he wants to receive it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're different.
Right.
And people are different. And so my infinite delight in your well-being means that I have to take the time to understand what resonates with you.
Right.
What resonates with you when it comes to emotions and feelings and love. And we were completely opposite. We were completely opposite, but we did find a way to understand each other. And I learned a different way of communicating with you, something that resonated with you. You found a different way to communicate with me when it came to my emotions and feelings.
Right.
Because I'm a very emotional person. I'm a very expressive person. I tell this woman I love her
several times a day.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And so that's something that I felt I needed. But I had to understand, but because she didn't express that verbally to me 1,000 times a day or as much as I did, doesn't mean she doesn't love me.
Right.
She has her own language and her own way of expressing love. And when I studied her and took the time to know who she is, I understood that she expresses her love for me all the time. It was just different from what I was used to. It's different from what, the language that I spoke. And so sometimes it's definitely important to understand what resonates with you may not resonate with me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really important. Understanding love languages and the self-reflection piece is super important.
Yes. The inventory.
Taking inventory. Chemistry is needed and should be there. But I think you were also saying that when we're open-minded and know our values, we've talked about all of that, and you find someone willing to invest within you like that there could be some automatic chemistry there.
Yes.
And to be open to that is really important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it should continue to grow from there. That's the fluff and the rainbows and the unicorns. And it's all wonderful in the beginning. But it can still be wonderful, throughout the entire process of the relationship and finding that person, because those things should develop into something a little more deeper than just the fluff. I want to know you.
Right.
I want to know when, what you need. And it may not be a purse.
Right. Right. Yeah.
You may need to sit down and and talk. You may need to just be hugged.
Right.
You may need to, have someone just listen to you for a minute.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it goes back to also in the very beginning, you said it pretty quickly, but I think it it bears coming back to that point that you've got to know what you want, because you may be in a season where you just don't really want to go that deep with somebody or have someone study you and invest in you like that. You may be at a season where you've come through a lot of trauma or whatever the situation, and you just may want company at that time. And just to, but you've got to know what you want, right?
You have to know what you want. We're at the place and space in our lives where we should know what it is that we want, because a relationship, if you desire something long-term and something meaningful, it's energy and it's time and it's an investment, and so if that is what you want, then you're gonna have to invest that energy and time. If you just want companionship and someone to have dinner with or watch a movie
then
with,
then
that's
fine.
That's fine. That's what you want. And so, but if it's something more meaningful and a little deeper than that, and you want a partner and someone to share in life with, then that's gonna take a little more energy and time and effort.
Right.
And love is not selfish. It's not about me. I got your back. And so that's something that, and I know you have my back. And so it's not always about me. It's about me investing in your well-being. I know that you're invested in my well-being.
Right.
We're covered. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So one last question before we end. So, and this kind of came from a friend as we were talking about the podcast, and that is going back to knowing what you want. I have a friend who's single in her 50s, has a great, she feels pretty much at peace, but still open to dating and wherever that may lead. But if she never gets married, she's okay too. But society can make you feel like something is wrong with you or you must not be happy if you're in your 50s and single.
Right.
So I guess, this doesn't fit neatly into the love bucket, but I guess if we were thinking about what about that woman who is not necessarily, or man, not necessarily looking for a one-on-one love of their life. If it happens to come, that's fine, but I'm not looking for it. I'm at peace. Let it be what it is. Is any advice for the people who are just kind of, let's see what happens? Should we be let's see what happens? Or should we really know, in your opinion, should we really know what it is we want, put that in our mind, and be open for that, or just see what happens? Hard one.
Well, no. I mean, I didn't know there was a you until I met you.
True. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so it's just being open-minded, true to yourself, but being open-minded to the possibilities of, because we don't know what we need until
it's there.
It's there.
Yes.
There's something a lot bigger than us that knows what we truly need.
Yeah.
We don't know what we need until it's there. So being open-minded and not shutting off what could be something wonderful and great in your life. It's okay to know where you're at and be okay with where you're at and be at peace with where you're at. But when it comes to being relational with someone,
right,
and spending time with someone and investing that energy into someone, let's be open-minded, because we don't want to cut off something that could possibly be good for us.
Yeah.
But to be honest about where we're at, be honest with the person that we're interested in or spending time with. This is where I am in my life. This is, what's going on with me. And I'm not looking for anything serious. That's okay. And allow it to be true to yourself, be true to that person, and allow it to develop into whatever it's intended to be.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you so much. This has been a great conversation on love.
Yes.
Because this is Love Lately.
Love lately.
And I learned. So for the viewers, one more time, the definition of love that you provided for us
My
tonight.
definition, the definition that resonated with me years ago, was an infinite delight in the well-being of another. That means I take great pleasure
Yes.
in your well-being.
Yes.
In making sure that you're okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Nothing about yourself, but
Yes.
great delight. And I just love that because I love the word delight. I love what comes up for me when I think about delight and just working without keeping track, knowing what time it is, just enjoying it.
Yeah. I take great pleasure in it, even when, I don't like you.
Okay.
When even through the bumps.
Right.
Like you said, it's a choice. I've made a choice to love you and to have that infinite delight. Infinite.
Right.
Meaning it doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop. It's a continual thing, no matter what's going on in my life. So like you said earlier, I've made that choice. We've made that choice. So you're looking for, if they make a choice, then, that choice, you continue in that regardless of what life or regardless of what the circumstances are.
Right.
If you're mad, do it mad.
Right. Right.
If you're bothered, do it bothered.
Yes.
Take delight while you're bothered.
Yes.
Take delight while you going through something. But
I love it. I love it. So yes, this has been great.
It
Wonderful.
has been. Yes,
I
thank
learned
you.
a lot myself.
Okay.
So yes. So thank you all for joining us on this episode of Love Lately and
Thank you.
unpacking love and what that looks like. So be sure to subscribe.
Please
And
subscribe.
share with other people and let us know
Share.
your comments, your thoughts in the comments below.
Absolutely.
And stay tuned for our next episode.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Love Lately. We hope today's conversation sparked some thoughts and maybe even some inspiration for your own love story.
Remember, love does not have an expiration date. It should always be evolving and growing, and so are we, together.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who might need a little encouragement in their love journey.
And if you have any questions or topics you'd like us to discuss, just drop us a line. We love to hear from you.
Until next time, keep finding, building, and enjoying love lately.